right. Harper's.
What's his problem with Harper's?
He's got history with them too.
All right, let's go.
Excuse me. I'm still alive.
Right. What's your favorite book?
Hard to pick just one.
That's the question, right?
Yep.
In terms of historical works, I'd say the Fanged Tome of Lykathus Szar. That was only the fourth question. Hello? Oh, shit.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
I guess this is over a year late. I should have done this right when the movie was still in theaters or something.
That's okay.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
I remember we talked about it and you were working on it. It was hard to keep it quiet because it was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Fang, or are we talking about the author or the book? Which you want to start with?
Whatever, this is your game here, buddy.
Well, how about we'll start from what people know. There's only two instances where the book is referenced, and one is in a movie that a lot of folks have seen, and somehow I didn't check the math of how old that corpse was buried out on the high moor.
It was from the battle, remember? So like 1,000 years or whatever it was.
Okay.
Or 100 years. I think maybe it was 100 years. I don't remember what they said.
Yeah, because he was pretty good looking for a corpse of 1,000 years.
Yeah, so it had to be 100. I think it was 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the book is considerably older than that.
No, it is.
Oh, yeah. It's, in fact, the first note where that book exists, the Fanged Tome of Lykanthus Szar, it showed up in my first novel in Blackstaff. It was just a little gizmo stuck in a little nook on the wall. And I can't remember if I noted, I think I wrote it up in the novel. I didn't double check again. My bad. But anyway, from my notes, it's the book that's in Blackstaff Tower is actually just a book that Kelvin hand copied while he was a student of the Seven Wizards in the city of Mithranor.
Right.
So this is like a high school, research project of his. Learn how to bind and put together a book. And he was, still fairly young, but the special thing with that particular book is that Kelvin, well, he wasn't Kelvin for another several hundred years until later. The only magic that's in the book are the illustrations. And he's magically copied the original illustrations from that Lykanthus Szar had produced.
Right.
And there were also 2 or 3 other versions done by other craftsmen or artists in Mithranor. And so, the book itself, where are my notes here?
Oh, this is the Fanged Tome, right?
This is the Fanged Tome, and it was finished in 355 DR, so a good 1,100 odd years in the past.
Yeah, right at 1,100 years in the past.
And Kelvin was copying it or making his own copy of it back in the 430s, if my math is correct. Yeah, he is born in 414, so yeah, about the late 430s. He's going to be studying with the Seven Wizards, and he just puts together this very beautiful copy of then it was a fairly well-known and well-regarded book, but it's not a book of magic, on which a lot of people, for some reason, just assumed it was.
Right.
Like Kelvin's copy is a Fanged Tome only because he used 4 dragon's teeth for the clasps to hold the book shut. But it always had that name because all it is it's a big compendium, for lack of a better word, of all sorts of different hunting lore. How you can identify certain animals by paw prints, by scat, by scent that they leave behind. And this is something Lykanthus Szar was a human ranger or even if they weren't called that at the time, that's what they ended up becoming. And he just collated a lot of information that he learned himself, that he learned from the elves of Mithranor and the slowly building other races that were there. He was not always from Mithranor, but he settled there later in life, and so a lot of his work it's endemic of what Mithranor always wanted to be, which is this is a union of knowledge for all the races. So, and the Coronel himself actually praised the Fanged Tome only because it was a much safer way to learn how to avoid dangerous situations
Right, right.
than to actually go out into the forest or need magic, whatever the case might be. So it's an odd book only because of some of the tonal shifts in how it talks about certain animals and certain predators. I mean, the Fanged Tome is a lot more focused on predators and things that you want to hunt or avoid.
Well, you said the only thing magical in it was were the pictures. Were they animated? Is
Well,
that why they were magical?
in Kelvin's copy, that's the only thing that was magical. They weren't animated so much as it would magically shuffle from the original, a copy of the original sketches to 3 or 4 different images of that had been done for other editions or other copies.
Right, right.
So, the fact that Kelvin managed to get a hold of the original manuscripts so he could magically copy those images in.
Right.
Outside of, oh, nuts. I had it written down and I lost the paper, but there is only one elven house that actually has the original manuscript copy of the Fanged Tome of Lykanthus Szar.
Oh, so not the original copy of the one that Kelvin has, but the one that Lykanthus Szar wrote?
Yeah, the one that he actually drew the sketches into himself. The ones that he held in his
spells
hand.
in that one other than the magical pictures?
That's an interesting question.
Now, since it's a
there are many who say that yes, there is magic in it.
well, what
I
about
would
so? I mean, so we know who he is. Like, if for people are out there, you may want to elaborate a little bit on Lykanthus Szar and about who he is and what he's known for.
Lykanthus Szar, he's got a lot of mysteries wrapped around him only because there's been 1,100 years of people writing about him without him being able to say, hang on a sec, wait a minute, no, that's not right.
When did he die? When did he die? Do you remember?
I have the year. I don't have an exact date.
That's okay. What year did
Let's
he
see.
die?
He is born in the year 300. So I don't have the year name right at hand.
I can find it. I have.
Yep.
I just have to find my.
He dies at the ripe old age of 86, which in those days was pretty darn ancient. Yeah,
pretty old for 300.
Those are the benefits of living in Mithranor under the Mythol and so forth.
Oh, that's where he was. Okay, so how was he able to do what he did while being in Mithranor?
Well, he only arrived in Mithranor by the time, let's see, he's born in the year 300. He doesn't arrive in the city until the year of Roused Giants, aka the year 330 DR.
Okay.
So he's got 30 years of experience and adventuring and whatnot before he ever arrives in the city.
And where was he born? Where was he born? Do you remember?
Where was he born? That's one of those things that's gotten messed up over the years.
Okay.
Some people claim that he is one of the czars of Baldur's Gate, except that can't be true because
La 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 la.